Welcome everybody to the No Swag Nation podcast, where I am your host, Napoleon Trill.
And I am the imbecilic genius.
And we're back. We're better than ever. We done switched formats up a little bit. We're trying something new. Technology is big, ain't it, IG?
You got to get with the times, man. We're getting with the times. It's like people like to see your face, and
they want to interact. They want to see all this beautifulness. So we're gonna try something different going forward, and hopefully you folks like it and continue to like, share, and subscribe. But other than that, man, holiday season was pretty good. How was your Christmas, IG?
Man, I had a good Christmas. It was fun. It was had some craziness like always though, because depending on who you hang out with, man. Like, see, every year, I'm not trying to say it's to brag. Every year for Thanksgiving and Christmas, me and a couple friends of mine, there's some restaurants and places around here. I'm not going to give them the name, but they give out meals to like people that are, I wouldn't say they're not homeless, but they give out meals to people who like don't have family, a lot of elderly. So you get a list and you'll get like all these packages you go and deliver to the houses, right?
Yeah.
So we're riding around delivering packages, and weeks before, my buddy's car was in the shop. He got it back the day before. Now, we're riding in the car, and I'm like, hey, man, like, did your car running good? How things running? It seemed like it's running all right. Oh, I don't know. This is the first time I drove it. I said, you mean they dropped your car off? And when you got money, this is how they do you. They just dropped his car off, and he didn't check to say, hey, maybe I should test drive this thing, right? So we're riding. I'm like, you didn't test drive the car? This is the first time you crunk it up and riding around? Like, yeah. Like, okay. Well, it was running pretty good. We're doing all right. Needless to say, we made all our deliveries, right?
Yeah.
We get to the last house. We're riding down a very populated road. We get to where there's Walmart. And you know what I'm talking about. We get to where there's Walmart. The car dies in the middle of the street.
Oh, man.
Cars going everywhere. So I get out and we push it to the side, right?
Yeah.
Now, I preface this, my homeboy's got a hell of a temper, right? He goes from 0 to insane in 2.5 seconds, right? So I'm like, well, pop the hood. Let me see what's going on. And so he pops the hood, and dude, while I'm under there, I see the airflow sensor came loose. So they must not have plugged it in right. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. By the time I plug it in and reach up to close the hood, this idiot has done got a bat out of the trunk, and he's busting all the windows out of this car.
He was that mad?
Yeah, he was like, he was losing it. And I'm standing there looking at him like, the man's got a bat busting the windows out. Now he's got a $70,000 car, busting all the windows out of this car. I'm like, I ain't gonna say a word to him. I'll just let him go. He just bang, bang. Funny part about it is, he was mad enough to bust the windows out, but he wasn't mad enough to actually do damage that would have cost real money. He wouldn't hit the
Oh,
side.
Yeah, he played it smart. He was mad, but he wasn't crazy.
He busted the tail lights out, all that, right? So when he gets finished, I'm like, hey, man, I said, you feel better? Try to crank the car up. Car cranks up perfectly fine, bro.
Y'all didn't even have to turn the AC on.
Hey, we're riding down one of the most populated roads in this city. No windows in the car. We're sitting all in glass, and I'm not saying a word because I'm trying not to laugh, because I know if I start laughing, he's going to get madder. So we're just not speaking. We're just driving and driving. People looking at us, and I'm like looking at them, smiling, and they're just like, what in the hell? So we get like a mile and a half from my house, dude. We pull up, and he just looks at me, and he goes, maybe I should have paused for 30 seconds before I got so mad. Dude, we laughed so hard. We were in tears, man. So that's how my Christmas morning started. And it was downhill ever since, man. It was great. Ate too much. But, how was yours? How did your children, how'd your kids enjoy it?
I can't compete with that. We had a great Christmas. Kids got everything they wanted. Wife was happy. Parents came down to visit with us. It was just a good Christmas all around, spending time with family. But like I said, I can't compete with what you got going on. But
nah, hey, it's who you hang around, man.
In the landscape of Florida State, man, there's been a lot going on, from recruiting, transfer portal, Dion, primetime, Sanders. Folks are burning jerseys out here, man. It's getting real. But let's go ahead and start off like this. Signing day.
Mm-hmm.
going into that day, we were excited, optimistic, because everything was trending up for us. And we had a few things not go our way, and it kind of made the class not be as good as we expected. We had a huge flip from someone who had been committed to us for 2 years. So just how were you feeling on signing day, and what are your thoughts overall on the class that we brought in?
Yeah, it's man, I had high hopes, and because it's like I knew what talent was out there, but it's one of those things until they're signed on the dotted line, you never know what's going to happen. And you know, with the flip that happened with Travis flipping, it's a thing of the you know, I don't hate on him, do your thing, but it's more of a deal that I don't like. It's not that I don't like that it happened, it's how it happened.
Yeah.
You know, had he not been in the locker room celebrating with the team, telling people for months that he's committed, it's kind of like, you know, I get, do you? I kind of am still not understanding why the number one player in the country who could go to any school he wanted to go to would pick a non-Division I school. That blows my mind more than anything else. You know, he's going to ball and he's going to be a hell of a talent there. But, you know, that one I still kind of get. But, man, it's
I just think he, in his mind, he was doing something for the culture.
Yeah, I get that. I
agree with you. I don't fault him for going where he wants to go, because, you know, this is your choice. This is your decision. This is where you're going to spend
it's your future.
3 to 4 years. I just feel like the way it all happened, the media buzz and circus it created around Florida State and everything, it sent waves through the college football landscape, because we had never seen anything like this before. You had a player committed to Florida State for 2 years. His dream school, everything you seen social media wise, every time he talked in press conference or anything, it was always Florida State. And then that day comes when it's time to commit. And what kind of got me a little bit, they said his letter was supposed to come in at 7 that morning.
Yeah.
It didn't come in. And that's when the buzz started going around like, okay, we might have a problem. But never in my mind did I think that it was, okay, he's going to flip to Jackson State.
Yeah.
And then I started seeing texts and stuff and updates like Jackson State is a real player. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, there's no way.
I
said, there's no way this is going to happen. So I started sending it to my friends. They're like, no. I was like, I don't know, man. It's some smoke around this. So building up to that whole moment, I was just like, Lord, what's about to happen? I was confused.
Yeah. Well, man, another thing, too, is Florida State can get in the news, but it seems like we always make the news for the wrong thing.
Yeah, we've been holding them L's lately.
Like the last positive thing I remember seeing us on a national stage was after the Notre Dame game. But it seems like after that, man, it has been just one thing after the other. And the way the season ended with that Charlie Brown play, I'm like, you know, but I'll tell you this, man, for the way that the last 2 years the team has been, Norvell, he brought in a good class, especially the offensive line.
Yeah, for the record we have, even losing Travis, this is a solid class.
Yes, the offensive line, man, I mean, we may have a championship offensive line in 2-3 years, depending on the development and if they stay, you know, but, I mean, you know what they say, you know, everything starts up front with the big uglies. So if we can get that line fixed, which we have not had a dominant offensive line since what, the championship year?
Years.
Yeah, so if we get that fixed, running the ball is going to be a lot easier. Passing, it may give time for Travis or Duffy or whoever's going to be in that backfield to throw it. You know, only thing I think we missed out on, I really, you know, we picked up a couple receivers after signing day, but it's like
portal.
Yeah, but it's like
we failed to land a high school wide receiver, which is inexcusable.
Yes, and the thing with me is we're not getting, to me, the way I see it and feel now. It may change and things, you know, someone may step up, but on paper, we're not getting a number one receiver.
Yeah,
there's not like that guy you can point to and say that guy is going to be something,
a surefire number one receiver.
Yeah.
My hopes is that McClain continues to develop into that because he has a lot of potential.
He's got the potential, but he's got time,
But it's just a question mark around Dugans, man. I know he's a Florida State guy. He's a legend, but at some point you got to look at it like from a developmental standpoint, you're not getting it done, and from a recruiting standpoint, you're not getting it done. So,
well, what scares me more about that is the development. It's like looking at the guy, like the receivers cannot get separation. They cannot get off of blocks. And that scares me. Drops, that's kind of a thing where you're going to get that, and
but like I said, not only are you not developing, you're not recruiting at an elite level.
That's it. That, like we said in text messages a while back, it's a thing of, I would rather have a great recruiter and an average coach than an average recruiter and a great coach, because talent sometimes is all you need. Just put the kid on the field and get out of his way.
Especially being a position coach. Like,
wide receiver.
You need to be an elite recruiter.
And see, with wide receiver, it's much like, how it is with running back. That's kind of positions you can just plug and play. Like, it's very simple what your job is. There's not a whole lot of coaching that you need to do. This is the route to run. This is how you run the route. And then the next thing, it's on you, catch the ball. So, that is that. And, I like the fact we got Duffy. I think Duffy is going to be a good quarterback, but it's more the thing of it's going to be in down the road a process.
Yeah, I do not want to rush him into playing.
No.
I want him to develop red shirt. That's what I feel like we still need to go get a quality backup in the transfer.
That's the thing that I was saying. That's what I'm saying. It's the thing of, it's like, I love Travis. I think Travis will be servile. If he has more time in the pocket to throw, I think he'll do better, but I don't blame him either. I would panic behind the offensive line too, but it's like sometimes he gets a little happy feet and he takes off running when if he just stood there, he might get a better opportunity. But that's with time and coaching. But it's like, it just scares me that he is where the offense goes is where he goes. And we just can't keep him getting hit because he's had 2 years in a row. That kid's been beat up. And we cannot afford to lose him. So, we need a quality backup. It's like, we got one quarterback, but it's more of a quarterback for the future. It's like, I'm looking for what we can do now. And I hope we can go get somebody. I thought we might have been able to pull off old boy from LSU. I thought we might have been able to pull him off, but he just seemed to pull the okie doke and go right back.
Yeah, well, they were saying we were never really in contact with him. You talking about Brad Johnson's son?
Yeah.
We were never really in contact with him anyway, so I guess he wasn't a part of the plan.
Yeah, but I was just hoping we could do something,
Yeah, they do have to go and get somebody as a backup because you don't want to rush AJ Duffy into action. You kind of want to let him to develop, get a year in that strength and conditioning program, get a year of just sitting back, watching the game, learning the position. Mm-hmm. You don't want to rush him in. And I think if Travis continues to develop, which he has been, like even the last few games, you see the strides he made as a passer.
Oh, yeah.
If he can continue on that trajectory, I think we'll be all right. But you still need a solid backup because he is prone to getting injured.
Yes. But we can't run him like that as much.
I just feel like it's going to come down to some of the key positions I think we need to address in the portal. Wide receiver, D-line, and linebacker. I think those three positions have to be shored up. Specifically wide receiver, we have to get some guys that can separate and make plays to make this offense go, because Travis, he has to rely too much on his legs, but a lot of time I don't think it's his fault. I think the wide receivers aren't getting open, so he's just trying to buy time until they can. So we have to get a true number one, and we have to address that now for this offense to take the next step.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It's the thing of the line has been iffy, but it's like when he has time to throw the ball, he can put it on a dime. He has made some great passes, but like you say too, if the line's not giving you enough time to throw and the receivers cannot get off the DBs,
that's a recipe for disaster.
It is. And the only other option he has is to take off running, but we just can't, running him is good. Like college football, it seems like it's more, that's what it's turned into, where you're going to have a mobile quarterback, but you also have to know, you've only got so many hits in your hit box before it's, and he's shown, in the past where he's been prone to getting injured. And it just scares me seeing him run, because I just, one hit, it could be over. And then what are we going to do? Like, I like Rodemaker, but he's got a lot of things he needs to clean up. He throws very beautiful passes. And if we can get him to throw to our team, it'll be even better.
It's just crazy because if you look at him, he has all the intangibles. He has the measurements, the arm strength. He's a son of a coach. And it's just like when he gets in the game, he gets shell-shocked. Like, I don't understand what happened. He has everything he needs to be successful. When you look at his size, arm strength, everything.
He passes the eye test. When you see him at center, he's like, hey, that kid looks like a quarterback.
But when he gets in the game, I don't know if it's going too fast for him right now, but he just looks lost.
When that ball is snapped, there's a totally different kid standing there. He kind of reminds me, like I told you before, man, he kind of reminds me, remember Xavier Lee? Looked like a quarterback. Had checked all the boxes, but it's like when that ball got snapped, it was something different happened, and you never knew what you were going to get. And it's kind of like with Rodemaker, it's a thing of, when he steps back to throw it, he throws beautiful passes, but it's like you just never know where that ball is going to go. And I think if we can clean that up, he's a great backup. I don't see him as a number one. I think he's a great backup option of, hey, mop up duty, or if you want to run some different packages. But I just don't see him being an every down quarterback. And it's like there's just certain positions we have, like especially the most important positions. We just need more depth and more talent where we have more options.
We need a talent infusion.
Yeah, we just need to have more options.
I'm finna put you on the spot right here.
Uh-oh.
Dugan's contract is up in January.
Yeah.
Do you think it's renewed, or do you think we move on?
Well, I'm going to tell you what, man. It's a deal to me. I think this is a situation like I felt with Gus Malzahn in Auburn. Remember when Auburn finally decided to let him go?
Yeah.
Who did they have to go out there and get? They didn't have anybody lined up. There was really nobody there. It's like, well, you got rid of him this year. You could have got rid of him the year before and picked up some great coaches. I think we're kind of in that situation with Dugans. If there is talent out there to go get, we can get a great wide receiver coach, then yeah, let his contract run out. Let him do his thing. You haven't fired him. His contract, expired. Go get somebody.
But see, what's crazy to me is Norvell is a receiver.
That's what I'm saying.
Receiver in college.
Hopefully.
So I think he could coach that position if need be.
Yeah, like hopefully Norvell has been, got a plan in place and knows like, hey, because the thing is, they haven't renewed his contract yet. So that tells you there's some, trepidation there of what are we going to do? But it's, to me, if you can go find somebody that you can go get that's going to do a better job, or you'll think will do a better job, then yeah, go do that. But if not, man, we could do worse. So sign him. If you can't go get somebody, re-sign him. But I'd sign him for 1 year. I'd have everybody on 1 year deals.
And let them know. Let them understand. Like,
let them know you're working for your job. Yeah, you are working for your job. What you produce is where we're going to go from here on out.
All right. So somebody else that kind of was starting off rough, but ended up finishing strong, Adam Fuller.
Yeah.
What do you take away from what we saw from Adam Fuller this season as a whole? We started off with some questionable calling and late game scenarios, but towards the end of the season, they kind of came on and it was kind of like the strength of our team. A lot of people give credit to that D-line being the reason why, which they're going to have to replace some pieces because Jermaine Johnsons don't grow on trees. Like, you got to find somebody to kind of – you ain't going to find nobody to replicate what he did, but you need somebody who can kind of put up a good fight towards like what he did. So what are your takes on Adam Fuller this season and going forward?
Well, the thing, too, with Jermaine Johnson, he kind of landed in our lap. He found us. You know what I'm saying? Because we didn't recruit him. He chose us. So unless they can go out in the portal and get someone again similar to that, yeah, that defensive line, man. But with Fuller, after the first few games of the year, I was probably one of the loudest ones in the, driving the fire Fuller train, because it's like some of those games, the decisions he was making, and it was like, it just didn't make sense. But as the season went along, it's like we turned into a totally different team. And the kids were playing hard. That's the one thing you can say, man, whether, about how we may feel about a coach and what we may feel about these things. If the kids out there, we're 0-4, and these kids out there are still taking and giving licks for these coaches, that tells you something that the kids believe in the coach. Because if you're willing to go out there at 0-4,
they're bought in. They're bought in.
You're willing to go out there at 0-4 and take licks and get, you know what I mean, and just keep going. And you're not complaining. We didn't hear we didn't hear a whole lot out of the locker room. So with Fuller, man, I like, the way the season ended. And I just think it's a talent thing, man. If we have the right talent, I think Fuller may be able to pull something together. Like I said again, too, with Fuller, his contract is up. He's the highest paid assistant on the team. So, like I said, man, give everybody 1-year deals. You're playing for 1 year. Prove why you need more. Show me what you have. I'm not going to give you 5 years and be stuck,
I just think this year coming up for this coaching staff in general is crucial. Like,
yes,
they have to find a way to make a bowl. Like, not making a bowl would be unacceptable this year. It would be a fireable offense. I don't
third year coach. You better make a bowl.
You have to make a bowl. That's why they have to rack up in the transfer portal. You lose your OC in Dillingham. I really don't know the full dynamics of their relationship as far as play calling on Saturdays. Who was making most of the calls. So we don't know what effect that's going to have on the offensive strategy going forward.
And like I said, I'm not really that upset that he left. I don't know why. Yeah. It doesn't bother me that bad.
Yeah, I feel like he was creative, but you could never really tell who was calling the plays with the flow of the offense. You never really know who was really running the show.
We were way too predictable.
Yeah. But out of necessity, because we couldn't drop back and pass the ball because we couldn't block and receivers couldn't get open. So everybody knew we wanted to run the ball. Yeah. So they had to come up with creative ways to scheme and run the ball. So that was a little blow, him going to Oregon. I believe that's why we missed out on a couple of the recruits. But I can't blame him because I feel like if you want to be a head coach in the future, that was the perfect opportunity for you to take that head coaching. That OC job at Oregon where you get full control. It's your offense. Nobody can say you're running Norvell's scheme. This is all you. So big ups to Dillingham. I always liked them. So
I'll say this too. And I'm not knocking our team, man. But if you look at Oregon's roster versus our roster, we'll see what Dillingham can do because they've got talent up and down that roster. So we'll find out really quick if it's him or if it's talent,
And then with him leaving, we promote Alice Atkins to OC, which the dude is a beast on the recruiting trail. Like, we can't even knock that. And then he's developing the O-line at a great pace. I like what I'm seeing. He called plays some for Charlotte. He was an OC. Yeah, I'm interested to see how him and Norvell game plan and scheme together going forward because they say he's going to be on the sideline. Dillingham was in the box. Yeah. So I wonder who they're going to put in the box and how they're going to develop and call plays on Saturday. But I'm actually happy for Atkins, man, because that's a guy I want to hold on to. I don't want to lose him. He means a lot to this program. Just look at the O-line class he's brought in and the transfers he's going after. So I'm glad they decided to promote him to OC. How you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm glad of that too. And see, man, that's the thing. Like with OCs being up in the box, there's some defensive coordinators that do that. But what I've never understood is why to me as an offensive coach, you need to be there on the sideline coaching these kids up, seeing them face to face, talking to them. Now, there's things that you need to see from the box up there, but hire an assistant to do that.
Yes,
have a guy sitting up there and have him calling down, talking to you, telling you what he sees and what's going on. That way it's like that way you get the best of both worlds. Because to me, when you're in the box up there, it's like there's something missing from a coaching staff.
You can't get that feel of the players. Like, you're not down there with them.
Yeah, so I like that he's that, and looking at some of the stuff he had been doing at Charlotte, you know, they had some pretty interesting formations. They were doing the different things, and it's like I want to see what he's able to do. I think it's one of those we don't really know until we see what we're going to get. But I don't see him being hired. Usually you judge the next coach based off the previous one you had. And I just see him and Dillingham. I kind of see them as equal. I don't know why, but I just kind of see them as equal of like, we didn't gain anything, but we didn't really lose anything yet.
Yeah.
Until I see what's actually out on the field, it's one of those, I don't really have a too strong of opinion either way.
So in your opinion, next year, what would have to happen for Mike Norvell to have a successful season next year? We play LSU in New Orleans, still gonna play Florida, Miami, Clemson. So
LSU, the good thing with LSU is the first game of it'll be the second game of the year, because I think we scheduled some school I'd never even heard of. Yeah. We scheduled them for a tune-up. So it's like, we'll have at least a week, and then LSU, Brian Kelly, the rebuild, the new Southern version.
But it might be rebuild. They got talent though.
Well, yeah, but he's gonna have to change his offense and the way he's gonna run things. I'm not, that'll be interesting to see, what happens, because now we have the new Southern version of Brian Kelly, who all of a sudden developed his Louisiana accent.
And that video had me dying laughing, bro.
Yeah, it was good. But yeah, man, like for next year, now let me ask you this question. I'm gonna throw this one back at you. Okay, are you asking me what season Norvell needs to have in order to put us on the map as coming back as elite, or what does Norvell need to do to keep his job? Which is the real question.
I mean, I guess it comes down to what does he need to do is keep his job.
Like, yeah,
if he has a season that puts up on the map to be elite, I'll take it.
Yeah, but
I'm trying
success,
to see what he has to do to keep his job.
Like successful, is that like just doing enough to keep your job, or hey, doing something where it's like, oh, Florida State's on the way back? It's more of the thing for him to keep his job. We got to make a bowl game.
Yeah, I feel
we've got to win at least 8 games. That's how I feel. We've got to win at least 8 games, and we have to beat somebody that we are not, because we were damn near underdogs in pretty much 10 out of the 12 games we played, were we not?
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's like, I'm pretty sure next year that's not going to really change, but we need to beat somebody that, we should not be able to beat. And I think Clemson next year, Clemson's going to be kind of a toss-up because they lost both their offensive and defensive coordinator. And, Venerables, with that defense.
That was huge for FSU.
How many coordinators are at a school for 10 years? You know what I'm saying? We don't see that anymore. So that's going to be interesting of who Dabo can get. So Clemson's kind of be, they're loaded with talent. It's going to be, how well is he going to be able to replace that? Like, like I said a minute ago about when you hire the new coach, you base him off the old coach. I don't know if they're going to be able to get somebody that's got the, pedigree that Venerables had.
Well, let me ask you this. Out of the new coaching hires in the state of Florida, you got Mario Cristobal at Miami, and you got Billy Napier at Florida.
Yeah.
Which program do you think made the better hire, and which program kind of not necessarily put fear in you, but got you looking like, okay, they might end up being a problem? Because I can tell you what mine is.
I already know what mine is, hands down. Miami, Cristobal.
Yeah, I think Miami going.
He scares the hell out of me.
If they are fully invested in the football the way they're saying they are, with that dude as the face of their program and recruiting, Miami has a chance to be back very fast.
Well, you saw where he flipped somebody. He flipped some kid. Was it from?
Jaleel Skinner.
Yeah, he flipped that kid already. I'm like, you know what I mean?
They're Cristobal and Kevin Coleman, who everybody thought was a Florida State commit for the longest. Now they're Cristobaling him to Miami. They end up getting Wesley Bassett. Everybody thought FSU was going to get him. Mario comes in and grabs him. So I'm starting to see a trend and a pattern that I'm not liking too much.
Man, the only thing is this is gonna, it's gonna sound kind of funny me saying this, but it's like Cristobal scares me because he can recruit, and you're
He's
in
coaching.
Miami. You're in Miami and South Beach, who don't want to go down there. But what I saw with Oregon and the way he left out of Oregon,
His in-game coaching is kind
the
of shit.
4 seasons he was there, he got blown out by the same team twice that he should have beaten twice. So it's like, yeah, I think him recruiting, he'll be able to take away recruits from us. And
But see, this is the thing. If Miami is saying that they're all in,
yeah,
if they're fully committed, they're going to give him money to hire an elite staff.
yeah,
He can take the Dabo approach as to where he's the face of the program, the
yeah.
number one recruiter. But when it comes to X's and O's and game planning, he really doesn't have to be hands-on if Miami is serious about what they're saying.
Yeah, like I said earlier, we were talking about coaches, man. I would much rather have a great recruiter and an average coach than a great coach that's an average
Especially
recruiter.
if you have the money to go out and hire
Yes.
X
So
and O's guys.
I think Cristobal, I think it depending on who they put around him as his assistants, he will be very successful there. He's going to be successful anyway because you're going to recruit talent, and unless you are that horrible of a coach, you can win with just talent alone.
Yeah.
Like if you remember, Coker took over Miami after Butch Davis left. Then Butch Davis had built one of the greatest teams anybody had ever seen. And Coker won one national championship and should have won back-to-back ones had he not got hosed by the referees.
Worst call in college football history. This is a Florida State fan saying it. That was bull.
Yeah. But they had one of the best teams that college football had ever seen.
Yeah.
And it's a thing of he could have won back-to-back championships in his first 2 years just by coasting off the talent he had. And if we remember, too, he was fired 2-3 years later. Like, how do you go from having a team that great where all you have to do is come in, plug and play, and boom, he's out? But that's because Coker couldn't recruit or coach that well. So
it's crazy because it's like as soon as Miami joined the ACC, they just never been the same since. They've never been who they were. Yeah,
when they left the Big East and came to the ACC, it's like, they just weren't the same. Virginia Tech kind of the same way too, if you remember. Like when Vic was there, they were really good. When they came to the ACC, they've had decent seasons, but they've never really put it together to where they've been on the national stage. But yeah, man, with the Napier, the thing with Florida, man, that loss they had against Central Florida in that bowl game, that's unexcusable, man.
Which makes you even mad that we lost to them, but that's just goes with the territory. It's a rivalry game.
That's just unexcusable. And it's a thing of like, Florida, that's always been a tricky place, and because recruiting wise, like Gainesville, what is there really in Gainesville? Why would you want to go to Gainesville? Gainesville's not really an attractive place to go. If you had to choose between Gainesville and South Beach, which one would you choose?
Or Tallahassee.
Yeah, Tallahassee, it's a college town, but it's just a thing. It's a thing where Napier, I don't know that much about him, and it depends on what I see him doing recruiting wise. But
right now their class is falling apart. But all the Gator fans are saying he's cleaning house. So I'm just it's gonna be back and wait.
Yeah, but to me, with Cristobal, I think Cristobal is going to come in and quickly make some moves at Miami. The only thing that I think Cristobal, the only guy that would have scared me more than Cristobal would have been had they brought Lane Kiffin. I'm glad he's staying at Ole Miss because, had they brought him down there, that would have completely horrified me.
Because Lane Kiffin can recruit and he's an offensive genius.
That's it.
He's gonna mess up. Like you just don't know if your program gonna end up on probation or what.
Well, I think Saban, the Lane Kiffin we have seen at Ole Miss is not the Lane Kiffin.
You haven't really been hearing nothing crazy about.
No. He still does some of his antics, but he doesn't go way over the top like he used to where he's a detriment to the program. So man, between the Miami and Florida, the thing is going on in Florida. It's I think Cristobal, that one worries me. But speaking of that, in Florida, what do you make about that speech Gus Malzahn gave after that game in the locker room saying that Central Florida isn't the team in Florida, is the best team in Florida? Did you see that video?
Well, I mean, for right now, this season, you can make the argument, but
Yeah.
Everybody knows at the end of the day, it's the big three. It's Florida, Florida State, Miami. Central Florida and South Florida have been kind of scratching at the heels trying to get in and break through. But I just think as long as Florida State, Florida, or Miami is putting out a good team, we're always going to be the big three. But I
No.
think Central Florida is knocking on the door. And then Gus Malzahn is one of them coach. That's a perfect fit for him. That program, the type of scheme he likes to run, his character, the way he is, he had to get out of the SEC at all.
To me, he's one of those guys that's a mid-major coach that will make a average team a great team, but you put him at Auburn, you put him at a school that's going to want you to put out,
a championship.
Yeah. I just, Malzahn. Because the thing is, like, when he went into Auburn, he had already been there and already recruited. Because I think he left, a year or two before when Chiswick got fired. He was there. Yeah. They won the championship, I think. Then he went to Arkansas. They still had all the talent that he already recruited. So when they brought him back, it was like he came in, had the talent. That's why they were so good so fast. But if you notice, they fell off every single year after that. And also, man, when you got to compete against Saban in the same state, that's not easy. But it's the thing with Malzahn, with him in Florida. But I think Central Florida, although they claimed to be national champions a couple years back, remember that?
Yeah.
They claimed the championship and all that good stuff. I mean, I think that, but man, it's a thing of Florida will always go where Florida State, Florida, and Miami go. And the way it's looking now, it's like we're going to go back to the 90s, man, because it looks like Miami's going to be coming on the way up, and we're going to be coming up on the way up. And Florida is just, I think they're in a complete rehaul where we may not, I wouldn't expect much out of them for the next 2 years.
The only thing, they still have a talented roster. So if this guy can coach, he should be able to find some wins.
But isn't that one kid leaving, the quarterback? Isn't he leaving?
Yeah, the Emory Jones, but not the other one, not the one that everybody's supposed to be the next guy at Florida. He's staying.
Yeah.
The one that came in against us and played, he's staying. Because Emory threw us like 4-5 interceptions driving out the field. I was like, thank you, I'll take it. But
I like this kid. Yeah. But man, it's I'm just with Crystal Ball, what I've already seen. What he could do at Oregon recruiting and things like that, he's got it in him. Yeah, but to me, I think he's going to be the, we're going to have to worry about him.
I just feel like we're going to have to make some staff changes, man. We're going to have to get some more recruiters because
we've got to.
If we don't, we're going to end up getting left behind because we know Florida has the money. Miami is claiming that they're going to invest the money. So where does that leave us? Are we going to step up and play big boy football? Like there was an article I read I can't remember who wrote it. They were basically saying, should we be investing in a football-only facility or should we use that money towards NIL deals? I feel like why are we even breaking that down into choosing when it should be both? Like stuff like that scares me. When we're thinking like that with the way football is transitioning, that kind of scares me. When you heard that, what
it's not an if or. Yeah, it's not an if or. Why can't we do both? And it's the thing with Miami, man. It's the thing, man. Like with this, like we were talking before, the thing with Jacksonville State, like with them changing the law, like why do they even have that in place to where you could hinder schools?
Because Florida tried to jump and be the first to allow the NIL, but they broke all these crazy laws and all these other states spitting back. And it's almost like the Wild West with some of these other states. Like, they don't have the same restrictions we have in Florida.
But it's like you jumped out to try to be the first to get out there, but then you put handcuffs on yourself and gave everybody else the opportunity to pass you. So it's a thing, man, like why is with the school, like what do you think about the new athletic director that they hired and they brought in? How you feeling about that? Do you think he is going to be the guy to help assist us get back to the top?
Yeah, because he was the president of the Boosters, and he's been the one raising a lot of this money for the football standalone facility and all that. So I think he's dedicated and devoted to sports, especially football. So I think he's going to be the right guy. But it has to be a buy-in from the program and from the president. Everybody has to be bought in because football is your cash cow.
Yeah.
You have to have success, and you have to invest in your football program. It's not up for debate. Like, it's not. Look at how far we've been left behind because we didn't want to invest in some of this stuff, and all these other programs are doing it, and now we're in the position and where we're at now because of that.
Yeah.
If this didn't open up your eyes and make you realize, okay, if we want to be successful, we have to spend money, I don't know what will.
And see, like with Miami, man, they were paying what? Manny Diaz was what, $3.5 million or something like that, and he had been the highest paid coach they've ever had. But they went in deep through the pockets to bring Cristobal in. I think what they said, his contract's around $8 million a year.
Yeah, I think they had to pay a buyout and
you jump more than double what you were paying the previous coach because Miami, it's like what Alabama did, bringing Saban in. Because you remember Alabama always.
And what me and you talked about this on a previous podcast. We always felt like Miami has the money. Like,
of course,
there's no way they don't have the money. So
no.
we could never understand what was going on. But now it looks like they might be all in.
Yeah, but it's the thing of, man, it's like Alabama did with Saban. Remember the years before Saban from 2000? They always wanted an Alabama guy. He had to have ties to the program and this and that. And Alabama kind of just lumbered around. And then one day they were like, screw this. We're going to go find the best guy we can get and pay him whatever we can give him to get him here. And it has paid Alabama dividends by bringing Saban in. And I think Miami followed that same way of let's go get the guy that we think can do this and pay him a salary that's going to keep him here. And Miami dug into their pocketbook. And my question is, if Miami's been what they are, just consider from when they joined in 2005, when they joined the ACC, they have played in one, maybe 2 conference championship games, got blown out, just being there, looked absolutely horrible and didn't belong. And then they've lumbered around and had terrible seasons, bad seasons. If they have the money to go pay Cristobal $8 million a year and give him money to get assistants, how can Florida State football, who had the dominance that we had over a 25-year, 30-year period in college football from the 80s to the early 2000s, and then we come back in 2013, had one of the greatest teams, top 5 greatest teams college football had ever seen, but we don't have money? We have to question whether or not we want to build a program or invest in the NIL. That don't make sense to me. Why does it have to be either or? What mindset is happening behind, with the checkbook? Why can't
it shouldn't even be a thought of either or.
That's it. Why do we have to choose? Why can't we do both?
It's an arms race. Like,
yeah,
people act like these kids don't care about facilities and all that. To a degree, that might be true. But when you're picking between 2 schools that you like, and you're trying to find out why should I go here, sometimes that stuff plays a factor. Like,
of course,
being more prepared for the NFL with nutrition programs, state-of-the-art weightlifting rooms and stuff. Like, some of that stuff matters sometimes.
Yep.
So we can act naive to the fact and say, oh, with Florida State, we've done it this way forever. No, it's time to change.
If you want to bring in elite talent to your program, you have to have facilities that is going to be able to properly train these kids. And any elite kid, the top ESPN top 300, do you know what each one of those kids have in their mind? NFL. I think they care less about what college they go to more than what college is going to be able to put me in the NFL.
That's what it all comes down
and
to.
They are going to care what facilities you have because they want to be properly trained and have the best opportunity to get out to the NFL. So if, not investing in facilities, not investing in the training programs, not putting that money in there, that's like the concrete of the foundation of the house. You got to have something to show these kids that, hey, when you come here, we are going to have your best interest at heart, and we are going to prepare you to go where you want to go.
Well, hopefully, man, we've learned our lesson. And
I don't believe we have, though, man.
Time will tell because they acting like they're full steam ahead on this standalone football facility complex. So,
But I mean, I've seen us take one step forward, and I've seen us take 4 steps backwards.
but
So
I think they realize we reached a point where we can't afford to go back. Like we have to make this stuff happen. Like we
because we keep playing around like we've been playing around, we're gonna get left behind.
We're gonna turn into Nebraska.
We're gonna get left behind.
What's gonna happen.
Yeah, we're gonna get left behind. So it's not a question of we've got to get with the times and go forward and things like that, man. But speaking of getting with the times, man, let me ask you this question. How do you personally feel as a Florida State Seminole? How do you personally feel about one Deion Sanders at Jackson State? We have seen the fan base split apart. People are burning jerseys, calling him a traitor. The same guy that half the program, half the people wanted 6 months ago to be our head coach. Now he is the hated enemy of a lot of these, fans and things like that. What is your personal feeling about that?
All right. I might be opposite of most FSU fans. I've always been a Deion fan. I love when he played for Florida State, NFL. He's a funny dude, charismatic, good dude.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, he doesn't work for Florida State. Yes, he played for Florida State. He put his blood, sweat, and tears on the field for Florida State. But he coaches at Jackson State.
Yep.
So if he has the opportunity to land the number 1 player in all of high school football to come and play for his program, he would be a fool not to, regardless of how we feel as Florida State fans. Like, he would be a fool. You know the story, the headlines behind him landing Travis Hunter, how big that is for HBCU football,
yep.
all the momentum it brings to his program, the cameras, the viewership. So I'm not mad at him for doing his job because at the end of the day, he's a head coach who gets paid to recruit the best talent to come to his program. The only thing I didn't like was, for the longest, it felt like Travis was so locked in with FSU. Anytime you saw an interview, a report, it was all FSU, all FSU. So for him to flip the way he did and toss the hat, I was like, I mean, it's worse than what it is because of the school he went to. That's why it made such big headlines and all that. But kids flip all the time, man. I can't knock a kid for going where he wants to go and whatever situation fits best for him. It sucks as a Florida State fan because we were on the wrong side of history. And it seems like we're always on the wrong side of the biggest stuff that goes on in sports. But we'll be okay, man. I mean, one kid doesn't make your program, even though he was a dynamic, maybe once in a generation type of player. He still was a DB and a receiver. He wasn't a quarterback. So I think it's more important that A.J. Duffy be everything Mike Norvell thinks he can be for his job going forward, because in college football, your team goes as your quarterback goes. If you don't have a dynamic player at quarterback, you're probably not going to have a very good team. So Norvell really needs A.J. Duffy to be everything that he's advertised to be. That's how I feel about that situation. What about you?
Yeah, like we had said that in the previous podcast. I think, to me, Mike Norvell's job is going to go where A.J. Duffy goes. If Duffy is a bust, I don't see Norvell being able to recover from that, because I
don't see him surviving it.
No, I don't see that. But I think it's all going to be on him, man. With the Deion thing, this is what I don't understand, man. And help me understand this with people.
What you got?
What does you taking your Deion Sanders jerseys
that
you have paid your hard-earned money for, and you could have turned around and put it online and sold it if you hate him so bad, you could have gotten money for that. You choose to go out and burn it. I don't understand the logic of that. I don't hate somebody enough.
We got a wild fan base. We've been told our fan base is one of a kind.
I have never hated anybody enough to cost me money.
Yeah.
If you don't like the guy, Sell the stuff you have. It's worth money.
Hey, sell the stuff. Take a picture of you selling it and burn the picture.
It's worth the money. It's worth. That's like that when I saw that, and then it's like, man, a lot of people are acting like a dejected girlfriend that found out the guy that they want to date them don't want to be with them, and people are losing their minds. Like we have slowly, as a fan base, many people have slowly been, spiraling into insanity. But it's like this is like it's pushing them over the edge, man. But yeah, like you said with Hunter or Travis, man, it's a thing of. The biggest question I have out of it is, like you said, the way he threw the hat, the dismissive way he kind of did that. I didn't like the way that looked. And yeah, him being in the locker room. But what I can't get is you are the number one rated college player or high school player to go to college. You have the pick of any college school you want to go to. But you choose to go to a school that is not a Division I school, who does not have a history of success, who does have a coach that is building something there. And yes, things are going to change, but I don't think we've ever had that happen before.
Well, I just think this is like the perfect storm.
And the question is this going to happen more often now?
Possibly, but I'm not.
Is this a one-hit wonder deal, or is this going to set something?
I'm not 100% sold of the number one player in the country doing this over and over again, but I do think you're going to see more of the top 300, top 350 maybe go to HBCU. Yeah. But I think this situation is a little different because, one, the head coach is Deion Sanders. You played DB and grew up idolizing Deion Sanders. So you have the opportunity to be coached by Deion Sanders. Yeah. Two, Travis is that elite of a talent that I think he will make it to the NFL wherever he plays at, no matter what level he plays.
Oh, sure.
Then on top of that, with the way the transfer rules are now, he could transfer from there anytime he wanted to, and I believe any Division I school would pick him up. Like, that's just, he's that good.
Well, so, of course.
Then you throw in, I don't know how true, they're denying the Barstool deal or whatever, but I just feel like there was some money involved. The numbers have been thrown out there, $1.5 to $2 million. I mean, it's hard to turn that type of money down because football is a gruesome sport. You can get hit. The first game, you can get hit and your career could be over.
Hey, you don't even have to get hit. You remember old boy from Alabama that broke his leg? Nobody even touched him.
Yeah, stuff like that. So
broke his leg. And it's like, when you step out on that field, anything can possibly happen.
So if they're going to offer you that kind of money, I mean, I can't be mad at that, man.
There's no way anyone can convince me that money didn't fall and play a big part in that somewhere. Whether it's direct, indirect, a hope of money, something had to go down and something had to happen. Now, I'm not hating on the kid. I hope he's very successful. And the thing is, he'll ball out because he's a man among boys playing with those guys. Now, the only question is with something you said, let me ask you this. Will it hurt his overall, would it hurt the hype coming in? Would it hurt him as a brand if he goes to Jackson State, and then say a year from now he transfers to another school? Why would you have chosen that to start with, but you're not going to stick it out? You see what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess it just depends on circumstances. Say Deion gets offered another job.
Like, does he have to stay? That's the question. Does he have to stay?
I don't think he has to stay. I think if he left after 1 year, it would be kind of like, but if he was there 2-3 years and maybe his senior year, he wanted to go play for Florida State, Georgia, I don't think nothing would be wrong with that. But you also have to look out for what if Deion gets offered a head coaching job on the Power 5 level.
Of course, he's going. All right, well, he would go. He would take that. He would go with Deion.
Is Travis going to follow him?
I would think so, because I think Deion's the only reason why he chose Jackson State. If there anybody else to be at Jackson State, he would have never even paid that any attention.
That's why I say we just, as Florida State fans, I know it's pie on our face, it's embarrassing, but this was just circumstances that we just didn't have any control over. Like, everything that could have went for Jackson State to land Hunter, like, it was just set up. Deion, Barstool, making history. Like, they're supposed to be doing a documentary about it. Like everything, like
Yeah.
that was just hard to compete with, man. So we just got to take that L, but we will be okay because we still ended up bringing in a pretty solid recruiting class for a team that had a losing record and didn't make a bowl. So
yeah.
but man, before we wrap this up, man, playoff games start this weekend.
Ooh, yeah.
We got Alabama, Cincinnati, and we got Georgia, Michigan. Who you liking in them games? What you expecting to see, man?
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. Cincinnati had been hollering all year. They want Bama. They want Bama. They
about to get
That's what I'm saying. They want to be on the national stage. Give us a chance. Give us a chance. Well, you're gonna get your chance, and you're gonna get your chance against the team. So there's only really one or two possibilities going to happen in this game. Either Cincinnati's going to come out and prove that they can hang with the elite
for a quarter.
Doesn't mean they're going to win, but if they come out and they're respectable and they play a hard, tough game, or they're going to get blown out. I don't see any way Cincinnati can win this game.
I'm leaning towards a blowout.
In my eyes, I don't see any way Cincinnati can win this game. I think it's more of a question of how long will it take before this game gets out of control. Will Cincinnati be able to hold it off and be respectable where everyone's talking about, hey, they put in a great effort, great. They did great, still second place,
That's blowout.
I just don't. I just don't see it, But the Georgia-Michigan game to me is going to be
this game intrigues me.
That's going to be the fun one to watch because it will find out if Michigan's for real. But then will we really find out if Michigan's for real? Because Georgia's not who we thought they were. And
when you look at the matchup, you see a team in Georgia that's built to stop the run. You see a team in Michigan that likes to run the ball.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a test of wills to see who's going to win that battle. Then you see a team in Georgia who has been dominating all year.
Who came off of embarrassment.
Like, where is their psyche at? Where are they at? Mm-hmm. Then you look at Michigan, who started out rough, and everybody was thinking
Harbaugh's on the way out. Yeah.
And now they're here. So they're going to be playing with momentum and energy, and they're going to want to prove a point that they can hang with the SEC and beat the big boys. So, and I'll tell you, right now, my gut's leaning towards Michigan, man.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. From the beginning of the season, when we picked who we thought our conference champions were going to be, and I picked Georgia because I said, hey, Georgia's going to be a hell of a team.
Who did I pick?
Yeah. Oh, man. Hey, I'm going to say this, too. If you go back to that.
Who did I pick?
I only got one right of who the conference champions is going to be. All the ones I picked, man, it's so embarrassing. It's not even what is funny. The two conference champions I picked are going to be playing tomorrow, Clemson and Iowa State. That might be a fun game to watch. But, oh, man, I kind of went out on a limb, and I really went out so far on that limb, it broke, and I fell in the water.
I mean, Georgia, up until they played Bama, they looked like they were going to beat the conference champs.
But see, the same outcome happened to what I thought was going to happen was I thought Georgia would roll through, win the SEC, and Alabama and Georgia would play again for the national championship. But the thing is with Georgia, the team they've had on the field for the first 12 games of the year. I mean, I was fully convinced by that 12th game of the year that Georgia's the team to beat. This is Georgia's year. Then they go out and play an Alabama team who had been struggling to beat LSU. They struggled against Texas A&M and lost to Texas A&M, who has 4 losses this year. They go out and play Auburn and have to go to 4 overtimes to beat Auburn. And Auburn had a losing season because they lost their bowl game yesterday. They ended up with a losing season. Like Alabama was struggling at the back end of the season.
But you have to understand, Archie, Nick Saban is the master.
Don't ever count that man out.
Alabama was an underdog for the first time in I don't know how long. You don't think he used that? And then
he said that as much in the press conference. Did you see that? He said that as much, like that rat poison they ate. They were feeding them. It tasted really good.
I was telling my partners, man, we were texting before the game. I told them, if Alabama can block Georgia's front 7, they're going to expose their secondary.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happened. They held up against Georgia's front 7 and they exposed their secondary.
What I was mainly looking more forward to was that Georgia defense because the way Auburn held Alabama's offense to virtually nothing. They gave up that touchdown on the last drive of the game, but Auburn's defense was dominating Alabama. And I'm thinking Georgia's going to come out there and embarrass Alabama and put on a show. And it's like all you had to do was beat Saban, and you got a clear path to the championship. He will be gone. It's all yours. And, of course, what happens with Kirby Smart getting out there?
Kirby being Kirby.
Without there with Kirby getting out there, and it's like the way Alabama's offense shredded Georgia's defense, that completely destroyed the whole myth that had been created this year. Because I think Alabama scored almost exactly the same amount of points that Georgia gave up all year.
They were breaking records at halftime on Georgia.
One game, Alabama scores as many points as Georgia gave up down there all year. And it's a thing of, I think, Michigan knows Georgia can be beat. Michigan knows Georgia's defense can be had. Now, the question is, does Michigan have the offensive talent to pull that off? Are they explosive enough to pull that off against Georgia?
Well, we won't have to wait much longer. We'll find out in a couple of days.
Now, let me ask you, did you see the rules they put in place where all these games are being canceled because of the
COVID?
For the COVID? Yeah, did you see the rules they put in?
That crazy stuff about the playoffs, like if you don't have enough players to fill the team, you have to forfeit.
And did you see what they said, though? A champion can be and will be crowned if someone has to forfeit the game. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine that? I would take it. If I'm the head coach, I'll take it. But it's a thing of
have an asterisk by it.
But the thing is, though, Georgia had already had these issues like what all these other teams are having. Georgia had this like 2 weeks ago. So we know Georgia really won't have the COVID issues that all the other teams are having. Would it not be absolutely insane for them to win a national championship of it being forfeited?
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Like, what if it's an Alabama-Georgia rematch and it never happens? And on paper, Georgia's the national champion. Because
it won't be respected by the college football world.
It would be a absolutely perfect fitting for this season, though, because it's been nothing but insanity. The last 2 years in college football, it has been nothing but insanity. But man, it's a thing of like, what do you think is? What do you think the outcome of that Michigan Georgia game is going to be? Let's go ahead and let's put some scores on this. What do you think it's going to be?
All right, Bama, Cincinnati. I'm going to go 42-17. Georgia and Michigan. Like I'm going back and forth because I think Georgia is the more talented team, but
which team's going to show up? Yeah,
I don't trust their quarterback, and I don't know what team's going to show up. So I'll go Michigan 28, Georgia 24.
See, that's a hell of a good score right there. See, but with that game, I'm going with the exact same score, but flip that around. I'm gonna pick Georgia to win the game 28-24 because I think Michigan is gonna come out there and they're gonna play hard, but I think Georgia is gonna try to make up for that because Kirby Smart, off of the season he had, if he can't put it together to at least get back to the title game, he's gonna be pretty much Mark Richt 2.0. Where if he doesn't do it this year,
can't win the big one.
If he doesn't do it this year, it's not going to happen. You had two opportunities to do it, and if you blow both of those after the season that you had, I think Kirby Smart, all the shine is going to fall off of all that. So to me, I think I'm kind of glad Jim Harbaugh is in the position he's in because he was on the hot seat. Can he beat Ohio State? The way they put that beat down on Ohio State. Like you say with this game, that's a hard one, but I'm going to pick that same score, but just flip it around. Georgia 28-24. Now, the Cincinnati game, I think Cincinnati's going to come out first quarter. They're going to throw some things at Alabama that Alabama hadn't seen. I think they're going to move the ball a little bit. They'll score some points. But then I think after halftime, we'll see a Nick Saban team like we always see. They're going to shut that down. And they're going to pull away and drive that train away. And much like what you said, I'm going to go Alabama 49, Cincinnati 17.
Well, we pretty much right there on our scores, man. But been another good episode, man. We got to chop it up. It's been a minute. We're going to get back. We're going to get back to doing this consistently, give y'all the content y'all need. We're gonna dive into Florida State and all things college football. But another
We've
great
also
show,
got
IG,
we've also got some other projects in the works
coming
too.
on down the line. Oh yeah. Y'all
Yeah,
definitely tune in. We're gonna have some stuff for y'all, man. But IG, how you feeling about today's show, man?
I like it, man. I think us doing the face-to-face things like that, I think is gonna help us out. Let people
First
see us.
time, yeah. See
Let
us get a
let
look at all this
let
Florida
people
State
see
drip.
this beauty, and yeah, because we're gonna represent. But it's the thing too, man. Hey, out there, like, share, subscribe, and comment below.
Definitely
Talk
do
to us.
that.
Tell us what you think. Engage with us.
We'll respond. We'll read, email, anything you want. We'll talk. We'll go back and forth. We are for the people. We're here for the people.
Yeah, for the people. For the
So until
people.
next time, I am your host, Napoleon Trill.
And I am the imbecilic genius.
Peace.